It was almost like we were going to do that opening where we're in the middle of a conversation.
Yes.
I think maybe 7:00. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, welcome to CarYada with Raffi and Dan. That's Raffi over there.
And that's Dan over
We
there.
can point the right direction when we're in person.
That's right.
When we're doing it remote, we're always like, which way do I point?
Is
It's February 24th somehow,
Yes.
which means this is our last show of February
Yes.
and the last show we do before your birthday.
That's right. I will have my birthday in 4 days.
On the 28th.
Yes, it's
My half birthday.
that is correct.
I always thought your half birthday was whenever the month of your brother's birthday, because my brother's February 17th. So I always thought, well, February, that's why it's my half birthday.
Well, it's
Split it with your brother.
It's the 6-month mark.
Well, I didn't know that. I couldn't do math. I was very young. But welcome to CarYada. It's Saturday morning. We have a lot to talk about today. As we always say, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments and we'll talk about anything: car buying, selling, trading, leasing, credit, old cars, new cars, stock tips.
Red cars, blue cars.
Oh my.
Yes. Stock tips, automotive stock tips.
Well, so this week there was a lot of reporting happened. Rivian reported some big losses. They laid off 10% of their salaried workers. That's an important note. That means they're not laying off people that are building the vehicles. And they're building a brand new plant in Georgia that's supposed to open in 26. So I have a feeling they'll be around. Oh, sweet Raffi Brown. So that's, to me, I don't think they're going away.
No.
But I think that, obviously the electric is slowing down. Ford has paused the F-150 Lightning.
Yes. And
Dodge is all in. They're going all electric or plug-in electric.
Yep.
So there's a lot going on there. Lucid, also their stock has dropped quite a bit, but they've got heavy Middle Eastern money.
Yes, they do. Saudi money coming from Lucid Technologies. The big value in the Lucid engagement is with the Saudi money, they realize that they need to diversify. So they can't be as heavily dependent on petroleum revenue over the course of the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And so they're diversifying, and their backers are very, very deep pocketed. So they have probably another 10 years of losses to go to really start building things up. And during that time, they have an advantage in that they can build their market share, but this will also give them time to invest into a lower priced offering, which is critical to get the volume they need in order to amortize tooling. Tesla had the same problem when they first started manufacturing, and they took a 10-year model on profit, but their big advantage was they had no competition.
Yeah, and they had credits. They had lots of government credits, and they were getting credits from other manufacturers.
Yeah,
they were paying them tons of money for their credits. Adam says, "Good morning, guys. I'm finally lucid and tuning in." And Robert says, "Opening was mind-boggling." Is this the first time you saw the new opening? Maybe.
Oh, perhaps. Yes. Well, good morning to both of you gentlemen.
I think he's talking about this. I think that's what he was talking about. I also, a programming note, I'm thinking that we might want to do this only on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Because we're on like 9 different channels simultaneously. So we get 1 or 2 viewers, 3 or 4 here, 5 or 6 there.
Right.
And so none of the algorithms are getting worked properly.
I see.
So we only have a few viewers on each thing. We're spreading it too thin. If we just go to one, it's the Mr. Beast method. We build a CarYada channel
on YouTube,
and this show is only on CarYada, nowhere else. So you have to come to this channel to watch the show.
A little inside strategery.
So if you have any input to that, or you have any opinion on that, please put it in there.
All right, then. Looks like we've got Ray Pepper here in the morning.
Here's what Ray says real quick. Guys, I'm at Larson Toyota in Tacoma. Can you buy it? If I am ever going to buy a Toyota Tacoma, I would buy it at Toyota Tacoma. Toyota of Tacoma is where I buy my Toyota Tacoma. I'm at Larson Toyota dealership in Tacoma. They have hardly have any cars. I asked what's up. Looks like they're going out of business. They said all Toyotas are sold as they come in. That's how it's been for months or years.
Yeah.
I have a friend who sells cars. Hello, Jeff Korn. I don't know if you're watching. Who sells cars in the Washington, D.C. area. And he was saying, yeah, you have to get it. When you get a customer, they order the car. And as soon as it comes off the truck,
it's sold.
They come and pick it up and they go. There's no negotiating. Things are going for over a sticker. This is, pandemic times. And that's become the model. Is they're not stocking up with these huge, like Longo Toyota used to have 3,000 cars at any time sitting on their lot. I have a wheeze. A lot of dealerships aren't doing that. They're just ordering as they go. Now, another thing they could be doing. So now Bob says it is Bob, right?
Yes.
Because it says Robert Bob, Mr. Moss, Sterling. Same at Toyota Pleasanton, which is in California.
Well, and look, it's cheaper. You don't have to have as big a lot.
It's how it used to be.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, a showroom.
That's right. That's all you needed was just a couple vehicles to show people what they're going to get. Then the vehicle is delivered to you. You come to that location and you take possession of it. In fact, many dealers have suggested they deliver the vehicle to your home, which also prevents them from having to hold the vehicle at their lot if it takes time for you to get there.
Now, there's another little trick that they might be doing. When I picked up, you know where I'm going with this.
I do.
When I picked up my Tesla, this was back in 2013, when you had to order a Tesla and wait and wait and wait. And they had no negotiation. You bought it online. You configured it online. I think I built mine in like September of 12, and it didn't arrive till May of 13.
Okay.
It took that long.
Wow.
And I went to pick it up, and the guy's like, "Oh, they're just finishing, walk over with me." And we walked into this warehouse in Seattle, and it was filled with the cars. I'm like, why are there so many cars here? Because the showroom would have one. And he said, shh. That's what he said. He goes, "Don't tell anybody." He goes, he's like, I said, "When did my car get here?" And on the sticker, it showed it had been there like 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Like they were slowing down deliveries intentionally to build up the demand. And I remember when the new
Corvette?
No.
It's an American car?
No.
European car?
No.
Italian?
Yeah, American car. Challenger. When the new Dodge Challenger came out.
Okay.
There were dealerships that would put one in the front, but they'd have like 15 in the back. So people show up, they go, "Oh, I'm interested in the new Challenger. Oh, well, this is the one we have right now. We'll call you. Oh, let me see what we can do." Because if you line your whole front row, you can no longer sell for over sticker. You can't have pent up demand. Now, Ray says that Hyundai and Kia across here are stuffed with cars. Well, that's different. They're not as in high demand as Toyotas. Toyota's still, the bar is high for Toyota.
That's true.
And I think Toyota is always, look at your resale value, Ray. You know how Hyundais and Kias do.
That's true.
So, and they're also South Korea versus Japan. I wonder if there's a difference in tariffs or something.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
I think ordering a car and waiting your 3 months is probably the way to go anyway.
Bob Moss is correct. The term he uses is flooring cost. That is correct. Dealers generally don't like to floor a car for longer than 30 days.
I'll explain flooring real quick. Flooring has nothing to do with hardwood or carpet. It's called a floor plan. That's their financing. So when a dealer buys a car, some dealers have to finance the car through a company that's a floor plan company. Now, the manufacturer will do this, and there's companies like Next Gear or AFC or Westlake. There's other companies that will do the flooring as well. So you go buy a car at the auction, they buy the car for you, and you pay a fee, a monthly holding cost, and usually you get 60 days, sometimes 90 days. And some dealers pay cash, like their entire inventory is cash, so they don't have a holding cost. They still have a holding cost because their money's being held up, but they're not paying an actual interest rate. So they want to move cars quickly. And that's why a lot of times you'll go to an auction and you'll see great cars. Like, why are they getting rid of these? They got to get them off their books.
Yeah.
So they're selling them to get rid of them, even though they had them for 60 days. They didn't sell retail. Let's just get rid of them. So that's what happens. Tom just waited a year for a Prius.
Yeah. Well, that's not unusual because the Prius, I think, is the highest demand Toyota. The Tacoma was for a long time, but I think fewer people have opted for the Tacoma recently, in part because they've become quite expensive. And the Prius still has to be a very cost-effective vehicle. I don't know what the current prices are for Prius or Priuses, but I think they're still the Prius is still the high demand vehicle, and have been for quite some time. Uh, there are uh, some disadvantages to being in the Bay Area, where I know Tom is, because a friend of ours here just picked up a brand new Prius, and I believe he had no delay.
Well, no, he went to Colorado.
Yes,
He
but
flew to Colorado and drove
yeah,
it back. That was his delay.
but
Now,
still, he got his
the
car.
Prius is the 2024 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Yes.
First time the best new car has proven itself as the best new car on the market for the first time in 20 years. So Prius has been a while. But when you look at the car,
it's a fabulous automobile, beautifully designed.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah, the first time I saw one, and as much as that sounds odd, that is a compliment because I think the design of this car is probably among the best uh, hybrids you've ever seen. If you park that car next to the first generation Prius, they don't look like they came from the same planet.
No.
They're so different in design, and this car is beautifully done. Um, you know, I think there's
I mean,
the
look at that.
original one.
It's a Toyota Echo. Echo.
Oh my goodness, that car was so unfortunate. So let's go back to the new one so I don't lose my breakfast. There we go. So this is just a beautifully done car. The glasswork is fantastic. The wheel position on the profile is perfect. The stance is great. The headlight signature is fresh. There's nothing on the car that looks awkward or difficult or poorly executed. It's just a very, very nicely done vehicle.
And I'm due for a new car in September.
Ah.
And I've been thinking about the Dodge Hornet or the Alfa Romeo Tonale. They're both plug-in hybrids because I want to do a plug-in hybrid, not an all-electric. Looking at this, this is a delicious car.
I got to tell you, if you, the only thing I'd recommend is I would spend some time with our friend Neil, who has a blue one like this one you just pulled up, and sit in the car.
Yeah, I did when he got it
because you're a tall guy.
It's comfortable,
but you got to be comfortable in that car. I think this car actually has better interior space utility than your current vehicle.
Oh, it does, and I definitely do a plug-in hybrid. I don't want to do black anymore. They do have a lot more power, as Bob just said.
Yeah.
It's actually the first time that they're using some of the torque, not the Peter torque. I know that's what you were thinking. May he rest in peace. But Adam is completely right. But I just think that it's a reliable car.
Yeah.
And if I order it now, I can probably get it by the time my lease runs out. The advantage is because I work for Cox Automotive as my day job, I get a really big company discount with Stellantis cars.
That's great.
And Toyota, we get a little discount, but not as big as the other one.
Okay.
Now, he thought everything was, Ray said he drove one yesterday, thought everything was cheap and not impressed. For the same price, rather get a new Tacoma.
Well, that's entirely possible, Ray, but you have to ask yourself, how many vehicles in that price category have you driven lately? And I know you get inside a lot of Lexus and premium vehicles, Cadillacs and all that. But I actually thought the interior of that car was impressive, given the price that you'd pay for one.
Well, he just has an SE. He doesn't have the loaded one, the one that our friend Neil has.
Yes.
He tried to get one. He reached out to dealers all over the place, found a dealer in like outside of Grand Junction, Colorado or somewhere like that. Flew in and drove it home.
Yeah.
And it's just an SE. They sold to him at sticker. Any other dealer that had one in stock was asking $5,000 to $10,000 over.
Yeah.
so it's worth it to him to fly. But it's a base model.
But I think he said he got well over 50 miles per gallon on the drive home.
Oh yeah, well over.
Yeah.
I think he said right now he's averaging like 110.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you plug it. Oh no, his isn't a plug-in.
No,
I take that back. Somebody else that I know. Hold on. Wait, I'm trying. Somebody I know got the plug-in. It's dropped out of my head. But they're getting 110 because they plug in.
Sure.
And they rarely use the gas engine, so they're averaging 110 miles per gallon with gas.
So the Prius is a gas hybrid. I believe it's still.
No, they make both.
Oh, they do make plug-in ones.
You can still get the plug-in as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
but the one he got is a gas hybrid.
He's got the base model, right. Now, what Ray's talking about, I don't know which one he drove. If you get like the XLE top of the line plug-in hybrid, I think they call it the Prime. I don't know if they're keeping that name Prime. That's like a luxury car.
Yeah.
And it's like 50 grand.
And Ray is right. Lexus is, I think, one of the best automobiles built.
And it's a Toyota.
That's true. I own Toyota, Ray. I own one now. I have owned Lexus before. I think they're some of the best automobiles ever built.
Yeah, I completely agree. The only reason I would go with the Stellantis cars is just because of the discount.
Yeah.
And the plug-in hybrid aspect.
So while we've got Ray here, last week we had a challenge. And the challenge was to guess Ray's price achieved while he waited in the waiting room to see what was it, CarMax?
He was at CarMax.
Yeah.
And
okay.
There's a lot of stuff. Oh, wait, oh, you got one of these?
Oh, those are great cars. I would buy that car.
Ray, I would buy this car.
Yeah, you should buy that car. Let's tell our viewers what it is.
So Ray has
the first series
of the Honda Insight.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull this picture up or not.
And the Honda Insight was a very clever car. Very clever.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's the back end. All right. Well, Ray.
One of the most fuel-efficient vehicles built.
John Liebling has a question.
Paper or plastic?
Both.
Yeah.
I like my paper to be plastic reinforced.
The answer is always paper, John. Always paper.
He says that Manheim he hasn't picked it up yet, so he doesn't know a whole lot about it, but he won that car.
Okay, good job.
Yeah, how many miles? Did you say how many miles were on it?
I don't think he did give any information there.
Thank you, John. So anyway, Ray, let me pull this up. So Ray had a car. It was, I believe, a 15 Ford Escape.
Yes.
And
there was a Ford.
You said 53. He said 56. I said 59.
Yeah.
Or he might have said 55. And now CarMax, I can't tell you what it came in at. Ray, if you can type it in what CarMax came in at, that would be better. But I might be able to pull up the actual sheet that you sent me.
But it did sell.
It did sell. Ray sends me stock tips. There's Rivian.
You and Ray are very busy.
Ray texts a lot. So here's the number that they ended up with at CarMax.
There he is waiting.
I'm not. See, when he does these moving ones, I can't show them. Look at that face. Wow.
All right. So
he went to he did Carvana. He did everybody. Ray's final offer. Open with preview. This is the CarMax offer. So this only counts if we're going with the CarMax offer. The final offer was $5,000, which means Raffi wins. He's the closest. Oh, no, actually, nobody won because we all went over. But we're not doing that. But Ray didn't sell it.
He decided to keep it.
He decided not to sell it to them. And he did sell it finally to a dealership. So, yeah, $5,000 is what he got from CarMax. So if we go by that, Raffi won. He was the closest. What was the final number, though, Ray? Because he ended up going on Car Gurus, and they gave him a number, and he went to the dealer, and the dealer
The dealer offered $5,000 also.
No, the dealer offered like 7,500, and the dealer reneged on it. They're like, no, 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 we're not going to take that. And it's like, this is an offer online that
Wow.
you bid on. You bid on my car. You have to pay this.
Wow.
And they said, no, we're not. And they went way down. So he made a big deal about that. I just wonder if he's going to.
It's surprising that that happened, because generally speaking, if a dealer gives you a number for your vehicle, that's that's a verbal confirmation for the
Well, it's
value
all
of the
based,
vehicle.
but it's all based on inspection. So they
Well,
can come and say, well, you didn't say this, or you didn't say this, or look, the seat's a little, or it smells like somebody smoked in it. You didn't mark that off. They can find, there's always a way for them to get out.
that's true, but it sounds like they didn't give a legitimate reason for what they.
No. So the one dealership, Reardon's Honda of Sumner on Car Gurus, took 7503.
Wow.
Is the number they offered. So of course he went in.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm guessing they'll go lower.
Yes, very good.
And they sent him an email offering him way less.
Oh dear.
$5,200.
Wow.
So all his time to make an extra 200.
Yeah.
And he went ahead and complained everywhere.
Yes.
They said his car was perfect, but they blamed Car Gurus. They said there's nothing wrong with the car. So then he ended up going to another place, AutoNation, got a certified offer, and the check amount was $6,500.
Nice.
And by the time it got to the end, the actual check, $6,500, exactly what they said online.
Excellent.
So if you go by that,
then
I won.
You won.
Because I was the close without going over for what he actually got.
Well, very good.
So there's all the numbers of where he ended up.
Yeah.
And they said the car, everything I just said. He was typing as I was saying it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6,500. So he ended up making, he's telling us what he made on this car. He made $2,750 on that car.
That's very good.
In like a week.
Very good. Very good.
And Ray's got a course he'll be selling.
But let's be clear to our listeners that unless you're a professional, don't try this at home.
Exactly. He's a licensed dealer.
And not only is Ray a licensed
tax
dealer,
and license, and would have not made money.
The average person will see 2 cars per year that they consider buying for their own personal use and enjoyment, not for resale. Right. 2 vehicles. Ray sees 2 vehicles in his sleep.
Yeah.
So Ray probably sees thousands of cars a year. So he's so familiar with them. He can pick out a good deal immediately. He can make the investment. He's got people that he can go to for cleaning, detail, mechanics work, things like that. So all of that is what qualifies Ray as a professional. Now, Dan and I both do the same thing, not to the extent that Ray does, because, as I said, Ray clips his fingernails and Toyotas fall out. So
Lexus,
there you go. So let's be clear that while there are opportunities to make money selling cars, it's more likely that you will lose money if you buy a vehicle with the notion of, I'm going to purchase this, do a little bit of work on it, and sell it. There are costs associated with that. Dealers do not have to pay sales tax on transfer because they are licensed as a business. If you buy a $10,000 car from someone and think you can sell it for $15,000, you will buy it for $10,000, pay an additional $1,000 for tax, licensing.
So it's about 15% it works out.
Is it now 15?
With all the registration? Well,
so
tax is 9.8, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So figure 15%. So you're at 11.5 now.
Yeah. To buy the vehicle.
And it's illegal to sell a car for profit as an individual.
You can
not for profit. You can sell up to 4 cars a year but if you're doing anything that's considered dealer activity, if you do one where you're buying to make a profit as a dealer, that's illegal in the state of Washington.
But if you buy a vehicle with the understanding that you're going to fix it up and sell it, and you do so after a year of ownership, is it considered?
If anything is, unless it's a classic, classics don't count.
Okay.
But any car that you do dealership, I'm using finger quotes, that you do dealership activity, even one car is illegal. Now they don't enforce it, and it's hard to get caught. And there are people, I'm sure, that flip a bunch of cars. But when you're a dealer, you can put a car into your company name very easily.
And and I know. Well, we should find out
I've taken the dealer
specifically.
class many times.
Yes, I know. But what qualifies as a classic car?
Oh, but 25 or older.
Okay.
Yeah, a classic car they don't count, because I remember one of the times when I had the car rental business and I took the class, there was a guy in there who owned a body shop and he was selling old classic cars
Yeah, you
and
can do
flipping
that.
them. And
Absolutely.
we went around the room like, why are you here getting a license? And then he told that story of why he was doing it. And the instructor's like, you don't need a license for that. It's a classic car. You can't buy without paying sales tax, but you can sell as many as you want as a classic car. They don't regulate that the same way. And he didn't come back after the lunch break. Like, why am I wasting my time here? So yeah, every state's different, but a lot of people are under the impression that you can do up to 5 cars a year no matter what. If they see a pattern, you buy a car, a month later you sell it, and you report you bought it for 1,000, because a lot of people always report way lower because they want to pay less tax, and then you sell it for 12,000.
Yep.
That's gonna have some red flags. So having a dealer license, which is not hard to get, I mean, the state of Washington is actually one of the easiest states to get a dealer license.
Well,
it's
and
probably the way to go.
You pay annually too for that license.
Yeah, but between the bond, the insurance, if you get it, $1,000 to get it a year to renew. It's not crazy, but that's the thing. Now, here's what Ray's really looking forward to, and I too will be looking forward to this as I'm traveling. The big day. The 3 cars he sold at CarMax last week go for sale on Monday. Will be fun to watch how much they make. They paid him $14,000 for the Tundra, $6,500 for a Camry, and $64 for the RAV4, or they will lose. Tundra has 251,000 miles.
Wow.
They paid him $14,000.
Yeah.
The RAV4 is 267,000 miles. They paid him $6,400.
And the Camry is
the Camry's it's totally beat. He showed us the picture, right? The front end was.
Yeah.
So I'm curious too how those go at the auction. I'm guessing they're going to lose money combined on the 3, but they also charge a buyer fee to the dealer that buys it. That's where their profit is
in the buyer fee.
In the buyer fee, because they do nothing to the car. They don't even wash the cars. They used to wash them.
They just bring them through.
And the advantage they have, and Ray and I have talked about this. You go to Mannheim, which is owned by Cox Automotive. I disclosed that because that's who I work for, and I'll be at the one in Phoenix next week, and I'm going to talk about that real quick too. But they'll have sometimes 15 lanes all going at once.
How many cars they move through there?
1,100, 1,200 once a week.
What's the dealer cost?
Depends on the car. 125 is the low end. Could be $500, $600, $700. It's a percentage usually, but there's usually a low.
So even on a loss, there's a percentage the dealer has to pay.
No matter what you pay, the seller pays and the buyer pays, no matter what.
Like a regular auction.
Like a regular auction.
Wow.
So that's why the auction does so well.
So they move 1,100 cars through there.
And if they make 500 a car.
Yeah, there's your money.
Yeah. But here's the problem. If I'm a dealer, I go online the week before and I pick out all the cars I'm interested in.
Yep.
Now I can pre-bid, set my maximum on every car. In lane always wins out over online. So if somebody else is bidding the exact same amount as me,
and they're
even though I bid and they're physically there, they win over my bid.
Why is that?
Because if let's say I put 10 grand on a car, car comes through the lane, they start at 8. So somebody in the lane bids 85. Then mine automatically goes to 87.50. Then they go 9. Then mine automatically goes to 92.50. And then they go 95. And then mine automatically goes to 97.50. They go 10. Even though I already bid 10, they win. Because they're in the lane.
Okay.
Because they're the next bid. Like mine wouldn't automatically go to 10. You making faces at yourself?
It's like I still don't understand why.
Because now if they're 97.50, then I hit 10, then I would win because they didn't bid 10. If they bid the exact same amount as me, in lane would win because my bid was one right below it. Because you can't proxy bid. It doesn't automatically go up to 10 grand.
Okay.
It goes up in increments.
All right.
So that's how you kind of lose when you're the max bidder. So whenever I would bid, I would always go one increment above. Like I would go 10-1.
Okay.
And that way
so
forces
the
next one
to the next. Okay.
Right.
Well, that makes sense
yes.
from a strategic perspective. John has a question.
Well, let me finish this thought real quick though. So CarMax, you've got one lane, and it's all digital.
This is why Dan is
Not a sponsor. Look,
not
the green top disappears with the.
not a sponsor.
See if you don't hear it's okay, but you go over here, it
The
disappears.
green top disappears. Dan's had a little too much caffeine this morning.
No, but when you're at Mannheim, if
you can't caffeine,
you can't get from lane 1 to 15. Like if you've got a car that are coming up at the same time, you have to dealers just moving back and forth throughout the lane.
Sure, they're trying to maximize what
right.
they can purchase.
But with CarMax, all the dealers are in one lane simultaneously. Whether they don't do physical anymore, it's all online. So that's why these ridiculously high prices the cars are selling for. I'll slow down now. John says, my 2025 leisure travel van will land this fall. My plan is to sell my current van late summer. I'll be on the hook for sales tax in full in the new van, correct? Or is there anything I can do to save the sales tax due to the sale of my current rig? I assume not. Thinking in terms of 1031 exchange dynamic, but with the vehicle. Thoughts? I want to hear what your answer is first, but.
Okay. So the best way to avoid sales tax, let's just say for conversation's sake, the new one is 100,000 and the old one is 65,000. And so where you get an advantage in saving sales tax is if you trade in the old one to the dealer and they give you $65,000 trade-in. So the remaining amount, the 35,000, is all you have to pay on the sales tax with the value of the trade-in.
Yes.
That's the biggest incentive, especially at high-end vehicle prices, for trade-in. So that's the only way, John, that you can save money on sales tax on the purchase of the new vehicle. There is a second way, which is also possible. The state of Montana offers RVs and leisure vehicles as a tax-free state purchase. So you can purchase it by having a Montana-based LLC, which can have a Montana PO Box address as the established LLC through a lawyer in Montana, and a lawyer in Montana will draft this, as many do professionally for lots of people. And then you own the RV in the state of Montana with the LLC name. Now, in doing that, you will get a Montana title, a Montana vehicle registration, and Montana plates. Those will go, the plates will go on the vehicle, and then you just need to be careful about making sure that your vehicle is traveling. And I know, John, you travel Washington, Oregon, and California because most police will see that you're in a recreational vehicle and say, well, wherever they live, they live. It's not a problem. But if that vehicle is seen too frequently in one state for too long a period of time, you can get a citation because that vehicle should,
and then you have to pay tax. Now he says, I looked into the Montana dynamic and spoke to the guy you referred him to.
Good.
So Washington has a whistleblower law, and I decided not to take the risk. My rig will be too high profile, and with Montana plates, I'm afraid someone will call me in. I'd rather sleep soundly at night. Well, then pay your taxes.
That's the bottom line on it.
But the other difference is what they'll give you for trade-in versus what you'll sell it for privately has to be the question. Because I've had people, and they'll say, this is much lower end vehicles, John. They're like, I can get 12 grand. I can get 12 grand for my car if I sell it privately. I'm like, all right, what's the dealer? The dealer's offering me, 10.5. I mean, they're lowballing me. I'm like, okay, but 10.5 minus those taxes, you're actually getting that extra $1,500.
So John, you should back into the number that you think. Go to the dealer, make sure the dealer gives you a fair offer, and explain to them the purpose of the trade-in is to lower your tax. That way, you can get yourself. You'll be able to lop off if that difference is $50,000-$60,000. You'll lop off $5,000 to $6,000 easily.
Now, there's one other way you can do it. If the dealer that you're buying it from would agree to this could be something, this could be a little way you could do it as well. If you find a private buyer that wants to buy your old van, you make a deal with the dealer to sell it to them. So the dealer now is going to sell it. Let's say you can get 75 grand, just making up numbers. The dealer only offered you 65. As long as the dealer can sell it to that customer for 75, take a small cut because they're going to get free sale, they could then consider it a trade-in.
So you're right. I helped do a similar deal with a friend of mine like that, whereby the dealer didn't take it in as a trade. They took it in knowing that they were basically operating as a pass-through to the private sale.
Right. So there's a way to do that. And I don't know if the RV companies do that or not, but that is always an option, because then the person you're selling it to, it's not really a private party transaction. They're not buying it from an RV dealer. There might be extended warranties that can be added to it. There might be peace of mind, but now they're of course going to have to pay all their sales tax.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm picking up what you're putting down on the private sale through the dealer strategy. Worth investigating. #brilliant.
There you go.
Thank you very much, sir. And John, do you think we should go on YouTube only? Let's go back to the earlier.
I believe Adam voted
YouTube
entirely.
I mean, I look at the comments, and it's like we got a few people on YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of comments on Facebook.
Yep.
But I think just consolidating us to one location will get us more viewers, and it would increase the algorithm.
And that's really the bottom line. We want to increase the algorithm.
You have to trick the algorithm. By the way, if you're watching right now, just hit like or love, or share this with somebody. Say, hey, I'm watching this. Just do something like that. I want to see the likes. I want to see the likes go up right now.
See if the algorithm grows.
John says go to YouTube as he's on Facebook.
Yes.
YouTube for sure.
There you go.
And I think we can monetize all of them. Not that we're doing this for money.
Yes, because the cash is flowing in by the millions.
Yes. Last question. Feed a cold and starve a fever, or is it the other way around?
Starve a cold and feed a fever.
You feed a fever?
You feed a fever. You starve a cold and you feed a fever.
But what if you have a cold and a fever? Then what do?
You don't eat.
But then you're starving a fever.
The fever understands.
I don't know. And is it hot for pain and cold for soreness, or cold for pain and hot for soreness?
Depends on what part of the world you live in.
That's true. If it's if it's south of the equator, almost the south of the Ecuador. So John stands with Raffi. All right. So there we go. By the way, John Liebling, fantastic provider of swag. John will bring you the swag. Adplanet.com. These are the Coast to Coaster tour. I'll be in Pittsburgh on April 13th.
Yes.
And we will be throwing some of these to the audience and selling them to some of his people as well. I've got stacks of them. Adam says, trying to watch the show through Facebook on my phone is awful. That's why I voted YouTube. I think YouTube is easier to watch in most. I can watch YouTube in my car, in my Polestar. I have a YouTube app. So I think we're going to switch it. I have to see how, because I know you have to have so many subscribers before you can go live on YouTube. So I think I have to build a new channel, and we'll slowly start adding it.
There you go.
And John says, thanks for the Ad Planet shout out.
All right. And by the way, Ad Planet does all sorts of things for all sorts of different companies and groups. He can do stuff for schools. If you have a school program you're doing, he can provide for sports teams, scholastic stuff. He can do for nonprofits.
Are we a full commercial now?
Sorry, I'm just,
John, I want a discount. He gave me a good discount the last one, but the next order of
he wants a bigger discount.
So we have our posters from the sitcom.
Yes.
And we've got coasters now.
Posters and coasters.
Posters, coasters, and I think I'm going to add toasters.
That's the one.
John, can you get me branded toasters?
Branded toaster.
I only want 2 of them, though.
John can get branded anything.
I probably should just get a sticker made. And I'm going to have 2 toasters with me in Pittsburgh and have them on the swag table.
There you go.
And see if anybody will actually buy a toaster.
A branded toaster.
A branded toaster.
Just get.
So it's a coaster, poster, toaster tour.
What you should do is you should rig it so that the toaster, when you put the bread in,
It has my logo on
it has your logo. It'll
There it
do
is.
the toasted bread on the bread.
There's nothing he doesn't brand, and he's got to pay for a new van, so we got to help.
That's right. We got to help.
And nobody's liked or loved anything since I said that. We're
We-
still at one like.
We should start a Kickstarter for John's new van.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So now, oh wow, we're 41 minutes in already. So back to what we said. If you have any questions about buying, selling, trading, leasing cars, please
That's right.
do.
Yeah.
By the way, you can email the show at any time, show@caryada.com.
Or you're welcome to text any of us privately. I'm just getting a text now.
And you can call our phone number, 877-CARYADA, and it'll tell you to use our email address.
And my friend Paul says he's just sold 3 cars already for CarMax. So he does work with CarMax. And he says margins don't matter to sales. As a general rule, dealers like to sell cars. And while they do look at what their profits are, oftentimes the total volume is what they're really looking for. I'm pushed for volume more than I am for profit.
I understand exactly where he's coming from. It's all about the numbers.
Yeah.
There's that old saying, Rivian, I think, lost $41,000 per truck last quarter.
Yeah.
But they made it up in volume. I think John's got GoFundMyVan.com. I don't know if he set that up yet or not. Knowing John, he already has swag for it.
There you go. So the other thing that came in was I had a question from a friend of mine. He is in Colorado, and he asks the question, when should I take off my snow tires?
When it stops snowing. I think
you're in Colorado. I don't think you ever take your tires.
No, I think like May 30th to August 1st.
Generally speaking, the rule is Memorial Day. Generally speaking, if you
Memorial
live in
Day
places,
to Labor Day.
Yeah, Memorial Day to Labor Day.
It's the same as white pants.
Is that
you can never wear white pants while you have snow tires on? That's the official rule. If you're wearing white pants, you've got your all-season radials.
There you go. So, generally speaking, as we said, it's Memorial Day to Labor Day. Those two generally. But if you live in an area where the roads, I don't recommend you use snow tires on the highway. They tend to tear up the highway pretty badly.
Studded.
And they also tend to wear out the studs. Remember, snow tires are designed to actually ride on top of snow and ice, not on top of gravel, tar, or cement. So you're trying to preserve your snow tires as best as possible. And also the other thing to keep in mind is, depending on the amount of snow you have in your area, you may want to just consider all season or all weather tires, which tend to have pretty aggressive tire tread. And that way you can stick with it. You don't have to change out your tires. You don't have to worry about that. It's a good way to go, especially if you have all-wheel drive on your vehicle. And many new vehicles do have all-wheel drive.
And my Polestar came with summer treads. And I put all seasons on, and my summer treads are sitting in storage. And I will probably put them back on at the end of August for the last month.
Mm-hmm.
And when I turn it in, I won't have to do anything with tires, which is nice.
Yeah.
We got a couple more things in the comments. Ray says, just want to throw this out there. I'm driving a 2015 Mazda 3. Terrible road noise. So cheap. What a piece of shit. But it looks nice.
The Mazda 3 is a great little car.
It is.
It's economical. It's very user-friendly. It's really quite good. Mazda's done a great job of improving their product line. But he is right. They do exhibit a fair amount of road noise. But I will throw this in. Check the tires on your car. I was
going to say that.
Because oftentimes people put the wrong tires on that car. The Mazda 3 and other lower priced economical cars are supposed to have narrower tires, and they're very specific on the size, because if you make them wider or you change the tread type of tire that's on there, you will get a lot of noise transfer into the smaller vehicles. So make sure you get the right tire on that car. It will make a difference in the road noise.
Yes. And now Adam says this winter was bad. Almost had no need for, so this winter was good then.
Ah,
It was bad as far as winters go.
yes,
I get what you're saying.
that's true. It was a
No
mild.
need for snow tires.
It was a mild
It
winter.
was so far. I mean,
Yes.
it's March, in like a lamb, out like a lion, though. Tires are aftermarket and shitty. Raffi is right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and that's another thing to keep in mind. There's so many different tire manufacturers out there right now. You can get a really cheap set of tires for your car, and what you will have is a really cheap set of tires for your car.
Yes.
So don't buy the cheapest set of tires. Instead, do two things which are really important. Number one, you want to look at the tire specifications from the factory.
Usually on the sticker inside the door.
That's true. And there'll be a series of numbers that you want to match exactly. That's the first thing. The second thing you want to do is you want to look at the tire manufacturer brand or recommended brand. Tire manufacturers will sometimes, we recommend Michelin's, we recommend Continentals. The reason for that is the compounds that they use from company to company are different, and depending on the selected tire, the car company will use that tire to test and set their suspension for optimal performance. And that performance is going to be, if you have a luxury car, it'll be set for the performance metrics to be quiet, to be highway based, and be less set for things like fuel economy, high performance handling, things like that. So many people will get an economy minded vehicle and then put high performance tires on them and have terrible ride, terrible noise inside the car, and they'll think they have a bad car.
Yeah, and I think also, I can't remember what it was called when I worked for a Chevy dealership. General Motors has a code on all the tires, and that is the tire that was designed for the car.
Yeah.
And you can actually look at that code. For some reason, I'm thinking F8. I can't remember the code, but I'll look it up in a minute. But you see the tire, and it'll show you. You can go online and you can Google it now. Back then you couldn't, but you go to, if it was Firestone, you go to Firestone and they would give you the exact tire that was built for that car to the manufacturer's specs. So you can't just go to Costco and put any tire you want.
Right. And keep in mind, the reason for this is car companies spend millions of dollars in engineering and testing to determine the exact tire that is supposed to be on your car. So you want to match that as best as possible so that you can have the premium performance that your vehicle is designed to give you, whether that's luxury, smooth highway riding, fuel economy, or high performance driving. Those are the goals that you should shoot for when you look for tire purchases.
Yes. Now, John, hello, John. He says Les Schwab's brand is manufactured by Dean's Tires.
Dean.
What do you think about their brand for mud and snow?
So mud and
I'm guessing that's what the MS stands for.
Yeah, that mud and snow. So what I recommend on any tire purchase is to talk with the salespeople at Les Schwab and ask them, number one, how many of these tires have you sold this year? It's a really good question, and they should be able to answer that. So what you want to know is that region that has your weather, the mud and the snow, is that region selling several of these tires? If these are, we normally get 100 sets per year, and we've already ordered twice. That means that this region is having a high level of success with this particular tire. And that's important to know. And it's an easy thing to ask about, and they have the records there. The second thing you want to know is look online, and you can check with the Department of Highway and Safety. They keep record of tire performance and blowouts and various things that happen. And the safety of those tires will get a Department of Highway and Transportation Association rating for those tires. And that'll be different from what the manufacturer has said that they've achieved, because they continue to do testing along the way once those tires are out on the roads. So it's a good way to go about doing it. John Les Schwab brand has been around for a long time. Many major brand tires are manufactured by under different names, but I believe there are only four major tire manufacturers
You got
today.
your Firestone, Bridgestone. That's one company. You
Yeah,
got your Goodyear,
and
and I think
those
they're also
companies
Cooper. And
those companies have multiple sub brands underneath them, so that they can do volume discounts in big box stores, chain stores, uh, and then also fleet based sales for tires. So you're not going to find a great deal of variation in in the tire quality. What you're going to find is a great deal of variation in the tire compound, specific to the profile of that tire, and my personal experience has been that I've had very, very good results with Hankook tires, and with Kumo tires.
Kumo.
Yeah, and both of those tires are very sweet spot for price to value in terms of miles. The best I've ever done,
Hankook, by the way, South Korea.
yes,
Yes.
the best I've ever done with a set of Hankook tires was 53,000 miles, which is quite good. Regular rotation is important, and I also think with tires you also want to continue to check your tire pressure. Most of the tires we have today come with the tire pressure indicators built in to the system, and I think 90% of those are flashing on people's dashboards and they don't pay attention. And sometimes it's as simple as just putting more air into your tires. Your air pressure will change as the temperatures change, so you want to continue to check your tire pressure regularly and make sure that you're riding at optimal pressure. If you are going to take a long trip driving and you're going to be on the highway for 5, 6, 7, 800, 1,000 miles, go ahead and air up those tires 2, 3 more psi. And what that'll do is that will actually give your contact patch slightly smaller level.
You're up a little higher.
Yeah, you're gonna be riding a little higher on the highway, which means you'll have reduced friction and you will get slightly higher miles per gallon.
Now, Bridgestone,
Yes.
Japanese company.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize that. So Bridgestone, Firestone, Fusion, Uniroyal, Dayton,
Yeah.
those are all American. You think Firestone, you think that's an American company. I think it used to be, didn't it?
Yes, it was.
But so the only major American one is Goodyear. And listen to all the brands Goodyear has. Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. Cooper tires,
Mhm.
Roadmaster, Definity, Starfire, Mickey Thompson, uh, Folda,
Hold up,
Kelly.
Kelly.
These are all Dunlap, Douglas. Douglas is a big one at Walmart. I think that's like their exclusive brand. But those are just Goodyear tires.
Yeah, they're all made by Goodyear. Now, John also has one other
Yeah, he
comment.
says they always push this brand. They always get me for 4 tires because I keep buying all-wheel drive.
Okay, so this is a good question. Should you buy 2 tires if you only need 2 tires, or should you buy 4 tires? And the answer comes down to tread depth.
Who's Ted?
Ted depth. To tread depth, which is the depth of the tread.
What a concept.
The section you can stick the penny into, and if you still see Lincoln's head, the depth of that tread. But that's actually not as important as even tread wear and perimeter wear. If your tires are wearing on the outside and inside edges, that's usually due to underinflation. So you want to get the tire pressure up on your vehicle. But overall, most people, because they don't rotate their tires enough, they will end up wearing out 2 tires before they wear out all four. And if you're looking to have some cost savings, go ahead and just get 2 tires. But even with an all-wheel drive vehicle, put the tires, the newer tires, on the rear, not on the front, because in inclement weather, you will get better traction with the more robust tires on the rear.
Yeah. Now Adam says his companies pay $250 for one tire. It was Michelin because
Mhm.
they had to make it match for a
Yeah.
work vehicle. Oof.
Yeah.
And then Dan says some brands of the same listed size can have differences in total tread thickness, diameter, and width of mud snow tires. One brand may slightly scrape the fender when turning into a driveway, while another does not, which is a
So
very good point.
yeah, so I'm not sure why this happens because there are measured standards, but there may be profile inflation changes depending on the rim size and the way the rim grabs, because the rim will determine how the tire inflates and pops out. Yeah. So it will depend. You watch that tire inflate and it goes around and pops out and then it balloons out to the outsides. Now the old style tires had a,
Parenthetically speaking.
yes, the old style tires had a lot of sidewall, so it would balloon quite a bit. But this was actually part of the suspension on older cars, because when you'd corner hard, you'd want that flexibility. This is flexing. The tires are flexing a little bit to improve your suspension. And race car drivers would sometimes put on tall white wall tires so that the tires could flex a little bit more, and they would use that flex for power sliding in corners, particularly on dirt tracks.
Now, John asks one final question. What if you only need one tire?
On an all-wheel drive car, tire stores will tell you not to do this if there is a dramatic difference in the tread wear on the other tires. What people will often do in this situation, if they only need one tire, they will take your spare tire, if it hasn't aged out, and that's generally a new tire. They will put that one on, and they'll take the one that they remove from the side that is still good. They'll make that your spare. Now you'll have two tires of approximately the same tread wear remaining, and those can be your rear tires. So that under the circumstances, if you need just one tire, get that tire. Also, if your tires, your current tires have only 5, 6, 7,000 miles on them, and you're replacing one because of damage or manufacturer flaw, you're well within the safety range for tread depth. We're talking about a single tire replacement if all three other tires have 25,000, 27,000 miles. Then you've got a situation where you want to get two new ones.
Now, Daniel says sharp edge tread versus more rounded. The corner point of the tread lugs can be the difference.
Yes, absolutely true. The profile of the tire will make a difference. The edging on the tire will make a difference. Again, depending on your level of interest in the subject, uh, take a look at your tires, and you can see the outside edge, the outside perimeter. If they're rounding off too much on the outside and they're starting to get soft, you're going to want to rotate those tires and put them on the rear, and check your inflation to make sure that you have good tire pressure in those tires. And that way, your front tires are going to wear down more, because the reason why is because we're steering and turning the front wheels. And so they're getting more uh, reduction, more wear on the corners because of the steering and cornering.
And John says this subject is tiring.
Yes.
And he also will end on this nice note. The prices of tires are way up this year because
Inflation, of course. Prices are up on everything. Inflation has affected everything, even though there's no reason for it.
Yes.
It's greedflation in many
Yes.
instances.
And it's also worldwide. It's not just here. And finally, John says, I'd pass on both YouTube and Facebook. Make a pitch to NPR. You guys can and should be the Click and Clack 2.0. They're still on the air. The one guy's been dead for like 8 years.
And they're still running them.
And they still run them every weekend.
They're running reruns.
And it's funny when you hear it, it's like, hey, I got a car here with the customers calling. They got a 1989 Chevy Beretta. I'm like, who the hell's driving an 89 Beretta? Then I realized the show's from 1993. But thank you, John. That's a compliment for sure.
Yes.
Maybe we'll launch this. We'll actually do something big with this show. We've got so many shows.
So many shows. We're very busy.
We don't really need to do gas prices because they're going up a little bit. It's bad news right now. They went up like 40 cents or 30 cents. But still, someone, I won't say who, said in a speech yesterday that gas was over $6 a gallon right now.
Where's he buying gas at over $6?
This guy's never bought gas in his life. And Fox News actually interrupted and corrected him.
Wow, Fox News made
Yes.
a truthful statement
Yes.
correction.
They corrected him because gas is currently averaging,
Oh, my.
in the low threes.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Nationally.
that's right.
Nationally.
That's our show for this week. It's been an hour. It's been fun.
Yep. Thanks everybody for calling in and writing in and texting in and whatevering in. We appreciate it. It's always fun to answer the questions and see what everybody else is up to. We will be back next week.
Yep.
And we'll be back in March.
Oh, we'll be back in March.
That's
oh my God.
right.
It'll be March 2nd will be our next show.
We'll be marching forth.
Yes. And well, let's see what happens here. Hold on. He buys jet fuel. Okay. He doesn't pay for it though.
Wow, jet fuel. There you go.
Short CarMax after Monday sales.
Short CarMax, yes.
Yes. Was he orange? Yes, the guy I was talking about might have been orange. All right, here we go. Let's play our little outro song that has the wrong information.
And we'll see you next week.